Now, every CEO has to step down at some point, but in the case of Disney, that seems to be a problem. The Mickey Mouse empire is once again finding itself with a chief executive who's in no rush to hand the keys over to the Magic Kingdom. After more than 10 years in the job and with no successor in sight, Bob Iger is set to extend his tenure for a third time. André-Pierre Duplessis reports.
Hello, my name is Roy Disney.
Roy Disney worked for years in the world's most famous family business. Although he never led the company like his uncle Walt, he played a key role in the success of the Disney company. With the seats on the board that hired and fired CEOs, he showed his displeasure with the leadership of Walt's son-in-law, Ron Miller.
Mickey, I think it's time for you and me to do some Disney magic.
With the support of other investors, an outsider would lead the company for the first time. Michael Eisner was a good bet.
He's taller than I am.
Conceiving Disney's cruise ship business, helping oversee the making of The Lion King, and building Disneyland Paris. But in the ultimate corporate betrayal, Eisner fired Roy and became the world's best-paid CEO, dismissing many executives eager to succeed him. After a reign of 21 years, the board finally pushed him out, replacing Eisner with this guy.
It's Bob Iger, who's the president of ABC, an excellent executive, to a lesser degree me, unless it's successful, and then to a larger degree.
The Disney board promised to never end up in a similar situation and sought to always have a CEO succession plan ready. Iger brought Ron Disney back as a board member and tapped Thomas Staggs, the CFO, to ultimately succeed him one day. But last year, Staggs unexpectedly left Disney and Iger extended his CEO contract. Some believe it's impossible to find a replacement who can match Iger's accomplishments. Disney shareholder returns have been nearly twice as high as any other media company, thanks to his decision to buy Pixar, Lucasfilm, and Marvel. Inside the company, few think any executives are prepared to take his job. And it would be difficult for an outsider to get his head around the world's largest media conglomerate. Bob Iger, who turned 66 on Friday, had a paycheck of $44 million last year. Although he has other plans outside the Magic Kingdom, it would seem that investors, unlike Princess Elsa, just aren't ready to let him go. André-Pierre Duplessis, TRT World.
For more on this, our editor-at-large Craig Peters joins us live now from Miami, just a few hours drive from Orlando and Disneyland. Craig, thanks ever so much for joining us. Sorry to keep you away from Disneyland and the wonders of the Magic Kingdom over there. Let's talk a little bit about Bob Iger and his succession issue. How can Disney avoid a succession crisis at the top?
Well, first of all, the difficulty of preparing for and finding a new CEO is not exclusive to the Mouse House. But the Mouse House has a hell of a lot of problems because it's more of a cloning operation there. There's basically three ways they could do it. They could merge with someone to solve the problem, like with Netflix or Apple, which there's been talk of. They could have an activist investor, which they don't have, like a Warren Buffett who could come in and say, hey, you guys got to clean up your house. Or someone could break the company into more manageable pieces, which is not going to happen. And this is why Disney is kind of in limbo right now.
So much of Disney's corporate culture is tied to Walt Disney, the founder. How much of a help or a hindrance is that to Disney?
Well, it's a burden, is what it is, because there's only one Walt Disney. It's like there's only one Marilyn Monroe. There was only one Henry Ford. How can you replace these unique individuals? On top of that, it's an entertainment company, which is, managing an entertainment company is like herding cats. So they have a much more difficult problem at Disney. And the problem was exacerbated when Eisner could not find someone who he thought really met his DNA to fix up the company.
Yeah, it's an interesting issue, isn't it? And since Eisner, of course, under Bob Iger, shareholder returns have doubled. Disney has become an enormous media company. And let's talk a little bit about Bob Iger's salary. He's paid about $44 million a year. How does that play into this whole succession story? Because it's actually a relatively modest amount in terms of American CEOs, right?
Modest? That's chump change. It's peanuts. It's mouse food. 44 million is nothing. Disney's getting a deal, and that is also part of the problem, because you would have to probably maybe double that salary to get someone, a top kick who has a track record who could keep Disney going. Disney's always been a cheap operation. Some would say more, cost effective. But 44 million in the land of the masters of the universe is cheap.
Well, talking about that, you mentioned who might possibly be coming up next. Well, one name that's been touted around is Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook fame. Could that ever happen, do you think?
Oh, should I go into Facebook Hosanna mode? She is a gifted executive with the ability to understand human progress and setbacks. Thank you for coming to Facebook. Please press the like button. I don't think so. She's the flavor du jour. But Disney is a unique corporation, as unique as its founder, Walt Disney. That's their problem. They've always been looking for another Walt Disney. And guess what, shareholders of Disney? That person doesn't exist anymore.
And a very unique Craig Kapitas in Miami. Thank you very much indeed, Craig.